Muscle snatch. Now I'm going to do power snatches. Redo my reps though. Same kind of thing though, where I just kind of do it quickly. Like those. I'll actually go back to 40. Oh, they're really fun. For a while, I'd always do them how Lasha does them without a hook grip and without contact, but what I found is it kind of messed up my pull. Not directly. I guess a better way of saying it didn't help my pull as far as the pathway of it. And they're like it's a lift that you can kind of do no matter how you feel. It's a fun lift for sure. And it's one that, like, it doesn't matter how good you are at weightlifting, like, you can just kind of do. You just kind of pull on it and get it above your head. But it's also a really good warm up too. Like, I didn't do any warm up. I put on my shoes and then started muscle snatching. And so there's not really like it's a dynamic warm up. Yeah, explosive in a sense. It allows you to really work on the pull of the snatch in a way that's like it's just a really simple lift, but one you can try to move. I think it's actually the muscle snatch is the lift in weightlifting that you move the bar the fastest out of all of the variations. I forget who said that, but some weightlifting coach said that. It's definitely not as fun to do with muscle snatch or muscle cleans. That sounds kind of brutal. The hardest thing is like when you're outside all day, and then training is like you're just, no matter how well you try to hydrate, you're just kind of dehydrated. And like even if the work isn't difficult outside, I feel like it just saps your energy to such a high level. But now I'll do power snatches. We do a similar thing where I just kind of go through the whole power snatch plan. So I'll do 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and then see if I want to go up from there. So I might do 90. We will see. A whole weekend off? Sounds like too easy. Too easy of a weekend. So minimum for this is 80, but I would like to do more, but it depends on how it feels. Good. Sorry I haven't been talking much. But 105. Left wrist I was starting to feel more and more. Kind of just on the catch. But I was able to get the wrist straps in a really good spot. Oh. Hey Reed. Sorry, I've been sounds like you guys are entertaining yourselves just good. Right? This morning I was a little bit. I'm sitting around 237.5. So I haven't really lost more from there. Hey Reed. Hey Logan. You know, Daniel, if you're tired, muscle snatches are great. But yeah, the 105 from the floor, like it felt pretty solid. Definitely not going up from there. It's heavier than I thought I'd be able to get today. But it was weird, like when I was doing the muscle snatches, like I didn't take pre-workout today, but I've been drinking coffee throughout the day. So the same amount of coffee. I'm not very consistent. Like sometimes I'll drink it all super early, then I'll have pre-workout later. A day like this, I was like, I'm not gonna take more pre-workout, or I'm not gonna take pre-workout. I'm just gonna finish the coffee that I had from earlier. So Well, I'm not going to be adding running, but if anything, I could, because I'm not trying to cut aggressively, and that's where I'm not. If I really was like I have to get to 220 in a month and a half, like I would just look at my diet. I'm not eating poorly. I'm just not focused on like portion control necessarily. Like I'm not worried about how much food I eat. I'm just eating as much as I want. I'm just not stuffing myself. And so I'm floating around there. I think the lowest since I've been not worried about maintaining my weight has been 236. And so I'm hovering between 236 and 238, which is less than what I was at the what May or whatever. So it's trending. It's definitely trending down, but especially, I mean, I guess I'm getting redoing the blood work and probably do it sometime next week. Probably not a good idea to be like doing any sort of insane cut and then getting blood work because I'll probably have something else pop up on it that it was off. So just eating normally. I'm really like right now just focused on hydrating and trying to make sure I drink enough water. Um, that's like the only thing kind of nutritionally. Obviously, like I eat healthy, so it's not difficult for me to eat mostly good. Yeah, that's what I like. I feel like I'm kind of at maintenance for the most part, but as I continue to add more cardio in, or to continue to add the same amount, I can manipulate the intensity. So yesterday, I actually I accidentally did too much cardio or more. Like I tried to get 22 zone minutes. I accidentally did 32 yesterday because I did some jump rope, and then I went in a stationary bike. Didn't realize that how much jump roping minutes I had of zone minutes. So I ended up getting up to 32. But I was also really aggressive with the stationary bike and trying to increase the resistance to make it more difficult. So my heart rate went up a little bit more. It's it's getting us. I'd say like the weird part is it's not so much the cardio that is the difficult part, like not the breathing or whatever. It's the like musculature endurance. So it's where like if I'm on a stationary bike and I increase the resistance, like I feel it more in my muscles than like, oh no, I'm breathing too hard. So I'm trying to obviously be consistent with it. So hopefully my muscles can handle it more. So then I can be more aggressive on different days. But I'm trying to, I mean, hit that 22 zone minutes every day. So that part's consistent. And I think that part will probably allow me to lose weight just because it's more cardio than I was doing before. But being able to have a couple of days a week where it's more intense. So most of the time it's in the moderate heart rate zone. And then I try to push it to get up to the vigorous. I think that's the one above it. But I think it's like above 140. And it's from a musculature standpoint, it's pretty difficult to stay above that heart rate level just because like other things break down other than like my heart and breathing. Like I have a history of playing sports and basketball and stuff. So I can kind of I don't want to say like I'm not even really gutting through it. Like the cardio part, I'm not like struggling so much with that. It's just like jump roping. It's like my feet are like not hurting, but like you feel the muscles of it. But hmm. Yeah, I don't see. For me, it's easy when I live by myself not to really binge because I don't put stuff that I can binge with in my house. And if I want to binge, then I have to go out, and I don't want to. Like I have to go out and get food. If I have food in the house, I binge on it. Um, it just will happen. Like if I have a snack, I just keep eating it, and that's why it's like the most common snack. Do I even really have a snack? I guess sunflower seeds, but I don't really even eat those every day. I guess if like I'm really hung up on a snack, I do have shredded wheat cereal, which isn't really that good. But if I have cereal, I just eat like eight bowl. I just eat bowls and bowls and bowls of that. I guess toast is probably the most common thing, just buttered toast and put some cinnamon sugar on it, which is just cinnamon and sugar, shaken up in a little bottle and just having that. Um, true. But like 4 pieces of toast with butter and like cinnamon sugar on it, like that's not really, what you'd consider a snack. But I suppose that's actually one thing that's a lot easier in the summer. I guess during the school year I wasn't worried about decreasing my body weight, but there's a lot more temptations, or just a lot more. They give teachers, junk food and stuff. And one of the weird things that happen, and I'm sure it happens to most people who lift weights, but because you tell people you exercise, I look like I exercise. People will try to get you to always have the snacks or eat more, which is usually pretty easy. It's not. I'm like, oh no, no, all right. I guess I'll have a cookie or whatever it is. It's not like I restrict myself with those things, but it's very easy for me just to have 10 of them or have too much. Um, Chopped cheese subs. Honestly, that sounds so good. You know what I've been really wanting to make is a pizza, and the problem is that I have to. Well, I have the yeast, so I can make the dough, and I know how to make all the the sauce and the cheese and whatnot. But I'm debating whether to make it more healthy or to make it more pizza like. Because pizza just so expensive to get, and it's getting to the point now where if I just make my own pizza, it's the cost and the taste is as good as if I go and get it from somewhere. Like it's starting to get to that point. When I used to be able to get a large pizza for $8, or it was a medium pizza for I think it was 6. When it was deals like that, it's just like, man, it's not that much. It's really good pizza, and I can just have it. Because it was Papa John's that did that. Papa John's is my favorite. Um, Bananas are fantastic too. Yeah, I guess like I do have fruit like that. So I have apple, oranges, and bananas. Those are, especially like right before training, bananas are perfect because they're really light, but they obviously have some sustenance to them, and it's really quick to get one. So yeah, bananas are perfect one. Oranges are. I guess if I was gonna have like a snack at night, I'd cut up some oranges. Those are really good, especially when have like a sugar craving, just to eat some of them. But fruit in general. But yeah, like honestly, apples and oranges. I mean, bananas are weird because I really like them, but I wouldn't be like, I need a snack. I want something sweet. I'm gonna have a banana. It's like I'm hungry and I want to satiate myself. A banana is perfect for that. But like oranges, apples aren't really that sweet, but I kind of feel like apples are in that same category. I personally, um, I just get normal or navel. I think they're navel oranges, but red delicious apples are the best apples, and a lot of people disagree with that, but it's just unfortunately a fact. I'm getting close to on a different topic of finishing the book I'm reading. I was thinking of doing a book review, and 5,000 videos of me lifting, and then a random book review. But I think it'd be something that could be kind of fun to do, to talk about the book for a little bit, give it a rating. But I'm not sure blood. I'm not sure if I've ever had a blood orange. Red Delicious off the tree. That sounds good. The book is All My Friends Are Strangers. I believe that's the title, and I forget the McLaughy or something. I'd have to go get the book to see who it's by, but it's the book that I have been reading. I finished one other, or I guess this year, 2 other books. One was just like really, it's like a philosophical poetry book, and it sucked. Another one I gave up, and it was very in a similar thing. I don't know what it is about like philosophy books, but they're just boring. It's like, yeah, one is like Zararatha. I don't even know. It wasn't. That's how memorable it was. But it's just like both of the philosophy books sucked. So PewDiePie has not been recommending good stuff, because like inherent, like in theory, I wouldn't mind reading a book about philosophy, but the books just aren't good. That's, I mean, part of it is it has to be readable in the sense that it's like engaging to read, and when it's just like random, boring, short stories, it's like you're not even like thinking. Like you're just like, okay, move to the next one. Okay. Um, I think that, yeah, I think that's the book, Daniel, or the author. But I believe it's All My Friends Are Strangers. It's something very. If it's not that exact title, it's very something very similar. But like, it's weird because I'll get into like the has like a really good like plot for a little bit, and then it just like gets weird, and I'm like, I don't know what's the point of this, and then it's just um that's where it's weird because like it's well written, and that's where it's like I kind of want to have different ratings because like the readability of it, following along or whatever, like it's not a difficult read. It's not hard to understand what's going on. I just like some of the stuff that's happening in it. It's just like how all the females in it, he just can bang like eight different women just randomly, and it's just like I mean I don't know. It just seems weird, and it's just his whole thing with Sally. I was like, he's just stupid. But it like that was where I kind of had in the first issue with it. It was actually a couple chapters in, but like he leaves with Sally and then just is married, and like it just happens. Like ah, yeah, we got married, and they're just driving away, and I'm like, what? How did we get from point A to point B? And she doesn't even seem like of course by the end of it, she's not someone that would want to be married to anyone anyway. But it's just like it was so bizarre. Um, some of the jumps with that, and I'm just at the part where he's at. I think it's his uncle or grandpa. I think it's his uncle, but his ranch that he's at, and it's just like, what is even like? It's just weird. And that's like the parts I don't like of it. It's just like there's parts that are just weird that like his whole thing as his uncle is like it's not really adding anything to the story. Like it's just he has a weird uncle and it just they do weird stuff and there's weird Mexican workers at it. Like all right, move on to the next thing. Goes and sees someone that's like goes and sees the person that was in love with the Sally person, and it's just like so many like weird. I don't know. It's just weird stuff like that. But like I don't know. I'm not a fan of it right now. It's not a bad read. I wouldn't say it's like this book is poorly written or anything. It's just like the plot has like I don't say issues, but like I don't understand the appeal of the plot. It seems kind of weird. I do like the kind of the setting and the time period of the book. So I think it does a good job of kind of painting that picture of the time period that it's in. So I have enjoyed that because I kind of like books that are set in like older times typically, or at least in this case for sure. But it's just I don't know. I don't really like the protagonist. I'm not really rooting for him, and I feel like I feel like it's trying to write like you're trying to like sympathize or empathize with him, but like just kind of think he's an idiot. Like this is all I get. It's like he seems kind of dumb and he doesn't have any direction, and it's just like I don't care. I just eat like crap, and just like it's like I don't want you to win. Like I don't want him to be successful. I don't know if that's the and that's what's interesting is like if that's the goal of what the author wants is like to have a protagonist that you're not really a fan of, then it's well written. But like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like someone I would be like, oh yeah, I want this person to be successful. I'm kind of rooting for his downfall. That was the other book I read. It was actually kind of similar to where it's like marriage was loveless and goes and robs people and gets bonked on the head and um, mashing is in back of the house or is back in the house. Okay, I can't read. Sorry, mashing. Definitely someone that should be doing book reviews, someone that's illiterate. But I don't know. The whole yeah, I feel like it. I mean, it had to have been because they used it to, inspire the movie or whatever. But I don't know. I would struggle to want to read something like that because I've already seen the movie that's based off of it, and not that it would be. It'd be kind of like the same thing of reading the Harry Potter books after seeing the movies. It's not as if the books are one to one to the movie. I'm sure the Jurassic Park book's a lot different, but it's like when you already kind of know the general plot, then I don't know. I like to not know what's happening at the end of the book and kind of have to be surprised. There's very few books like fiction books that I have reread. I think probably the only one that I've reread is Watership Down, which is Watership Down is probably still my favorite book. I got the sequel, and I'm looking forward to eventually reading that. That might be the next one that I read. I don't know if the sequel's good though. I'm like a little nervous to read it because like the regular book is good, and you don't really napalm. I don't know, but yeah, have you read Watership Down? Yeah, that's a really good book. I always hate we were like, "What's it about?" Like it's an adventure book about rabbits, and it sounds weird to explain, but the way the author just tells a story, it's really I really liked it. It was a book my dad had said he liked, and then I read it, and like, I can see why he liked it. Um, but the sequel, I don't know. I'm a little nervous about that, but yeah, it's definitely a solid read. Makes you look at rabbits, I guess, a little different. That's why I call the one rabbit in the yard Hazel. Fiver. The little one's Fiver. But I don't know. It's a pretty cool story. It's more coherent than the one I'm reading now as far as what happens with it. But I don't know. I haven't decided fully on what I want to read, what book I want to read next. I'm getting towards the end of this one. I have a whole bunch of pile of them, but like the philosophy books are just they're 0 for 2, frankly, and I'd rather not just keep. I mean, I feel like that's just homework reading, and it's just they're not that interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too dense to read a philosophy book. I've never really been into the whole like Marvel or any of that. I never read comic books or anything as a kid. Really, I mean like I remember the series I read as a kid. The first one was probably actually Artemis Fowl. And I remember that one being a weird one because I remember reading like the first two or three, but like the other ones weren't out. It was kind of like how Harry Potter was, and so I kind of went back and forth. I remember Artemis Fowl was I really liked that as a kid. Um, what was the other one? Aragon. That one was like I read I think it was a trilogy. It might have more now, but I think I remember I read two of them, and then the third one wasn't written yet, and so I just never went back to read it. And then obviously Harry Potter, you can't go wrong with that. Never read anything like Twilight, so I'm not a girl. But Harry Potter was like, yeah, Aragon was really good. I just wish all the books. Oh, what's that? The one where all the kids have to hunt each other. Well, like it never came out when I was a kid, and then I moved on to other books. But oh, what's the? It was made into a bunch of movies. No, it had the whole series. It was the kids, they held their fingers up to volunteer as tribute, and then they went and fought and to kill each other. The last one standing became rich and famous. It was actually very similar. It reminded me of, well, the concept reminded me of a short story by Stephen King called, I think it's called The Walk. But what is Mockingbird? Yeah, that series I enjoy. Well, I enjoyed it until the end, and then she just didn't choose like the ending was so bad as far as like the author's choice of Hunger Games. How the author chose the end the series was like it was so infuriating because it was just so obvious that she should have went with the person that she was originally with at the beginning, and I thought was at the very end. She just goes back with the person that she was with during the Hunger Games or whatever. And I was like, that's such a lazy. It was such a lazy ending, and it was so well written. And it was just like, oh yeah, she just said bye and then just went back with him. I was like, why? Why? She wasn't in love with him. Was just with him as out of convenience for everything. But she should have went with the boy that she had at the beginning, and then escaped the whole thing, the whole like the whole compound or however it was described. But like I thought that would have been the better ending is that she went with the original boy and then they escape out the fence together and then they go and live and survive. And then she could have wrote 15 more books. but but she wanted the series to end and decided that um well the ending like I like the story, but then like the very end was very well the very it was weird because it was written really well, but then like the last half of the last book was like she just got it done and hurriedly written it down. Because like I remember her sister just like randomly dies in the middle of this battle, and there was like it was just out of nowhere, and it was just random, and they it doesn't really like it doesn't impact her at all, and it's just like you're just not devastated, and like the guy that you were in love with at the beginning that is been there and helping your family the whole time. You just bye, and it's just yeah that one. The ending sucked so bad. Which I remember watching the first movie was good. I didn't watch any of the rest because I knew the ending was gonna suck if they kept it anywhere near the book. But yeah, the Harry Potter books were definitely they were written at the perfect time for my reading development because they were just a little bit well, they all came out as I was still interested in reading them. But my whole that was one my whole family liked reading, so that was an easy one. And then the movies were awesome. Um, what was the other one? I started to read when I was older, reading a little bit of Stephen King. Those were very weird to read. Those were very odd books. And then I think it was Dean Koontz was one. It's kind of similar vein as Stephen King. Very disturbing books. I guess maybe not even disturbing, just graphic details. Bag of Bones is so. I don't know that one. I'm trying to think of like if there was a book I was forced to read in school that I really didn't like. I was never in like advanced English and writing classes, so I didn't get a ton of them. Well, don't have to worry, I wasn't planning on it. But yeah, I remember Artemis Fowl being one that my brother and I both liked. No, I've never heard of Piers Anthony. Nope, I don't know that at all. So I'll take your word for it, but oh, sci-fi. I'm trying to think of. like Stephen King kind of got into that sci-fi, but it just kind of had like biblical overturns, like the whole it wasn't like the Dark Tower series. That one was weird. I really liked the story, but it was very similar to Hunger Games in the sense that the ending was just really like disappointing. It was just like, it's kind of lame. It almost feels like the authors sometimes just get to the end of the series and just like Harry Potter ended well. They ended like it had a good ending. It was like a well written ending. But like the Dark Tower series, I'm like, oh, that's kind of dumb. And same with the Hunger Games, is like, oh, that's kind of dumb. Um, yeah, the series it's really good. It's really kind of I don't say it's abstract, but it's I mean I would say it's kind of like sci-fi fantasy. Like it's really interesting in that regard. The ending, it's not bad, but it's just like cyclical to where it's like, why would you even put this at the ending when it's I mean, once you read a couple of them, you kind of see like how the stories go. It's just like, oh, you just it's kind of just perpetual or whatever. It's hard to exactly describe without. I mean, it's not really worth not spoiling, but um, that one was good. Oh, what was the one? I forget what it was called, but it was just like a biblical battle between good and evil, and it was really long. But it's another good authors. Hmm. But the when I started reading the Hunger Games, it was kind of funny because I had read Stephen King had a book of a bunch of short stories, and they weren't really like crazy short, but they were probably like I don't know 20, 30, 40 pages. Like they weren't like long, like a full story. But the one was really weird. I remember it being about an airport, and it just like the flies ate everything. I don't know. It was kind of too out there for me. Drew Karasbani? Sounds like an Armenian name. But the other one was called The Walk, which reminded me of the Hunger Games a lot. So everyone signs up, it's optional, but you sign up to do this. You know, it's not really a race. You just have to continue to walk at a certain pace. Like you can't go too slow. And the person that's the last one walking gets like a. It's not really explicitly said, but you just get this really large prize. And kind of similar to the Hunger Games, if you're trying to be the last one surviving, but if you stop walking, or if you get, I think you get like 3 strikes, and then your strikes will eventually go away after a little bit. But essentially, like if you stop walking, you get shot and you die. And so you're trying to survive, and you get, and just everyone keeps going. Like there's no sleeping or anything, so you just go forever. So that was very kind of reminded me of Hunger Games in that sense, but it was kind of, I mean, it wasn't a fully was it was a short story, so it didn't have like a full plot. So can't really say she plagiarized that. Not that I think that it's similar enough for it to be considered anywhere near that. Just kind of like a survival sense. But yeah, I'm not sure which one. Definitely want to get this one book done, and then see where what I'm feeling next. Might be the Watership Down sequel, which I forget what it's called. But I don't know. I'm glad that I've been consistently reading. Because was there another book? Yeah, that was a book I had. I had a book I was trying to read like before school sometimes, and that was the really crappy philosophy book. I just don't understand why it's not just trash. Like it's just stupid. Um, but the yeah, and I had another like teacher book, but a book about teaching is like I was like I'm just gonna read whatever I get, and it was a book they like gifted all the teachers, and it's just about finding your motivation as a teacher, and it's just I don't know how to. It's not those books are they're just too cheesy. I don't know. It's just it's giving girl teacher TikTok vibe where it's just like all right, just I don't know. It's hard to describe, but motivational books are often really cheesy, and it's hard to. I mean, being motivated by a book is hard in general anyway. One I guess that's kind of in that vein that I liked though was Atomic Habits. I actually got it after I independently just got it and read it. But I also got it as a prize for a weightlifting competition. But that book was kind of just interesting just to think about habits, but it wasn't really a motivation book, I suppose. All right, we're gonna do some power clean and a push press. I'm doing the same vein as the power cleans and just go boom, 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 boom. Whew. All right. So I lied. Do overhead press, but I drop back down and do push press. Whew. Should probably eat the eggs, not just smash them. But 96, not bad. I don't know if push press will feel good though. She. We're gonna go back to 60, do 60, 80, probably 100, and see how everything's feeling with 100. I think I'm also not gonna do cardio today. I'm doing cardio every day this week. In this session, I've been moving quickly through. So, probably have an increased heart rate for a lot of the session. So, it's not as if I haven't elevated my heart rate today. Plus, then it should allow me to recover a little bit better for tomorrow. I'm pleasantly surprised how much good lifting I've been doing today. All right. All right, same kind of thing. Same kind of thing. I'll sure hope for that. Whew. Certainly won't complain about a Friday session like that. An 80 muscle snatch, 105 power snatch, a 96 press, and a 115 push press. Whew. Part of me was like, I want to go up to 125, but after I caught that power clean, kind of knew it was all the power my legs had today. So then tomorrow will be hopefully heavy lifts and some squats. I'm not sure whether it's going to be front or back. I'm thinking probably back squats. Whew. Whew. I'm not doing it today. No, I could feel at the power clean like I had to catch low with it, so it just wasn't working. Andres. But I think with just the pace of the sets I was doing, I think probably the 120 would be about the most I could do, but I would have to get like hyped up for it, and it's not worth it on a day like today, because I could maybe power, like I don't even know if I power clean it. Like I think it'd be a really difficult power clean, but better to make it an easy one. Kind of like the same thing with the power snatch. Like once I caught the 105, I was like, I think I might be able to do more, but it's not worth trying it. So I want to make that number consistent. I'm less worried about that for the push press, but still good to make good lifts. Yeah, that divot, I took out the little piece of head underneath, but I think it's just the wood that's getting messed up. Slowly but surely. It's not a crazy big dip, but I might put the piece of rubber back on top just to get a little height. Figure out something for that top portion, just to make it a little bit more better. We'll see now. Temporary fix. But except for this one, I'm going to go in and eat something. I don't know what. I really want ice cream, but I don't have any, so I'd have to go and get it. Deuces.